Hello, everyone. Very warm welcome to another session on this international symposium on innovation in education. And in this session, we'll talk about non-linear thinking. And when we talk about non-linear thinking, who else? I mean, what name can come to your mind? It's only Perry. And Perry, Dr. Octopus. I mean, what an amazing, name, and especially the Dr. Octopus. It's really fascinating. I don't want to give his introduction a lengthy introduction. I just want to tell everyone that he is the founder of Octopus Movement, and the Octopus Movement is the movement that is, or I would say, there's a community of all the nonlinear thinkers. So, anyways, thank you so much for joining Barry today. I know he's not very well because he is very exhausted. He has been to Saudi Arabia. He's been traveling. He has just done a 20 hours marathon, which is huge. And then he's here again with me. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you with us.
Thank you, Abreem. It's so good to be here. Yeah. Everybody's saying that, but I mean that. Hi, Barbara. It's so much fun to be with you all, and I think what you're doing, Abreem, is super cool. And I really want to say that I see you active every day. You're always going for it. I know how busy you are, and you keep going. And I think that's more people should do that. So, congratulations. Awesome what you're doing and innovation in education. How many people are talking about we should change education and who's actually really doing it? So, a lot of respect for you, Abreem, that you're doing this, organizing this with all these cool people. And I feel honored to be here and that I can say something about nonlinear thinking. Hopefully, that will sparkle some thoughts with people. Thank you, Abreem. Really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm learning a lot about the non-linear way of thinking because, of course, we've been so traditionally trained to think in a way, in a box. But it's amazing that how we can achieve so many things in a creative way. So, anyways, I know that we have some discussions about the non-linear thinking and everything, but tell us that what exactly is non-linear thinking?
Okay. Ah, that's difficult. It's not
Yes.
the duality of linear thinking.
Yeah.
It's not the opposite, but it starts with linear thinking. I think talking about conditioning, you already explained it very well, I think, Abreem. It's we're a bit trapped in our thinking and we're trained in linear thinking, which is very good. We want to achieve goals in our lives and we use linear thinking, linear conditioning to achieve our goals in life. But there's also something else. And I discovered being a bit different, being a bit weird, actually, that my brain is very nonlinear. And what it really means, there is no thought on what it really means. I always explain that for me, nonlinear thinking is the space between thoughts. And that sounds very poetic, but it's the same as music. Music is the space between notes. That's really what the music is. And for me, creativity, creating new things, your gut feeling, your intuition, your connection, that other voice, that is the space between thoughts. And that's for me nonlinear thinking. And in today's world, I think we're not using that enough anymore. I think we're so conditioned in linear thinking. This is how we should do it. This is how the system works. This is how the conditioning works. And everything and everyone should be adjusted to that thinking, especially when you look in education, especially when you look at these brilliant minds of all these different students. That doesn't always work very well. So, nonlinear thinking for me is really the space between thoughts. It's something that you cannot really think about. Is that clear enough for you?
Yeah, I guess so. I think that to me, yes, it's clear because it's something that we've been doing it in a just one way. To me, it's like linear thinking is it's just the one line that we have to follow, the same path, and that's what we've been seeing that what society or the people around us and trying to put people into boxes, like, they have to behave in certain way in that particular box, and then they have to behave that way. And that's that's what damaging our youth, or especially that is what is damaging our education system. Because what I've been like, I was listening to Dr. I don't know, he's not Dr. Neil deGrasse. He was saying that every child is genius till the age of 6,
Yep.
because there is no holds and bar around that kid. He's free to do anything. But
Yep.
after that, when they go to school, they slowly and gradually start losing their geniusness, because they've been told not to do that, they've been told not to think that way, they've been told that they have to perform things in that way. And that's where I think the problem begins. And
There
as
was,
you
can I
yeah,
explain, Bream?
yeah,
Because
sure.
Neil is absolutely right. It was in 1965. NASA was doing research for, they were in the space race and they want to go to the moon, and they were looking for the most brilliant creative minds. And they asked this consultancy firm, like, help us to identify who are the most creative, brilliant minds on the
Yeah.
planet. Long story short,
Mhm.
98% of the 3 to 5 year olds are creatively brilliant.
Yeah.
98%. And only 2% of the adults, with the average age of 31, and they had like 280,000 interviews with adults, 2% of them were creatively brilliant. So, wow, right? And
Yes.
that's life as well. And of course, and it's not that I'm against the educational system, but yesterday in our 20-hour Zoom marathon, we had
Yeah.
someone from New York, a student, and she explained it so well to us.
Mhm.
She is on the spectrum. She has autism, ADHD. She is a brilliant mind. She is such a beautiful human. But the system as it is, you
Yeah.
have to do it this way. You have to do it that way. And I think the whole world is screaming for a different approach within education, saying, what do you need to excel? How can we help you to study? How can we help you to learn? And it's okay to make mistakes. And if you need something specific, something special, then you have to go into through so many different tests and paperwork. I have 3 kids myself. My middle son has dyspraxia, and in order to get some more time and working on a laptop for his math, because his handwriting is horrible, it costed so many tests and money to organize that, to get the approval that he has some extra time in a laptop. That's all we're asking, just working
Yeah.
on a laptop instead of pen and paper, right? It's
Yeah.
nothing. Yet, because there's that system, it makes it so difficult. And I think that's a good thing to talk about. Sorry, I
Yes,
was.
no, that's exactly we are here to talk about, that these are the systems that actually, like, slowing down our creativity or killing our, I would say, the creativity. You know what, like, I've spent almost like 9 years at the corporate level, right? And it was so amazing, or I would say fascinating, that people used to say that, oh, think out of the box, think out of the box. I mean, and at that point in time, we were also stuck in the system. And
Mhm.
when you start talking about thinking out of the box, they outrightly reject it. I mean, and they said like, oh, it's not, it cannot happen, because everything has to go through the system. And now we are also working with, because like our main focus is like this year, it's healthcare, mental health, and education. And that's what we've been seeing in the healthcare also, because what happens is that the system is so, I would say, destroying everything, that they have to go through the system, that despite the immense, I would say, advancement at the technology and everything, we seeing that people are dying just because of the system. They are not able to actually get that all the advancement, or they cannot get the benefits of the advancement in the technology, just because of the system. So I
Mhm.
think it's time to change the system. And the problem is that many people are not even aware that what is happening that around them. Somebody has to actually make them aware. And that's why, like, it's very hard to find people also who can
But you
help us.
know, Abrim,
Yeah.
it's so easy to talk about. Yeah, let's think outside of the box, right?
Yeah.
I personally I hate that phrase. It's so linear. Keep that in mind. You know, you're
Yes.
conditioned in your thinking, and you think you're gonna think outside of the box.
Yeah.
How trapped are you? You know, the whole conditioning that you're now in your thinking are going to be thinking outside of the box. What the hell does it mean? Right? What
Yeah.
what is that? It's incredible. And especially when you think about this, that I don't know the exact number. Joe Dispenza is always talking about that
Mhm.
maybe 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts every
Yes.
day. So our thoughts are
Absolutely.
the same every day. And then with these same thoughts, then all of a sudden we're going to think outside of the box. All of a sudden we're going to do things differently. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. And I think we had our 20-hour marathon also very much closely linked to neurodiversity. Why? Because I think people with a neurodivergent mind are, for them it's easier to allow chaos in their lives, and it's very simple. They did some research about this, why this is, and it's very simple. If you're at school and you're different, I have dyslexia, so at school many times, all the time, I got the feedback, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is, you should really focus on your writing, Perry, this is not
Mhm.
going well. So if you keep hearing that every day, all the time you're at school, you're doing it wrong. You start thinking, what's wrong with me? So
Yeah.
you're questioning your own mind constantly. And by doing that, you are not afraid of your own mind anymore. So neurodivergents are not
Yeah.
afraid of their own mind, and they can allow chaos to be a little bit easier in their lives. And when you allow chaos in your life, and when you're not really afraid of your own mind, then it's easier to go into areas that you've never explored before. And for people that don't know their mind very well, they're a little bit stuck. And maybe we can call that a bit linear. They want to use the system to control everything as much as possible, so they at least know what's going on in the near future, and they're in control because that feels safe. And in order to change the system of education, we need people not to go and think outside of the box because they're
Yes.
stuck. We need nonlinear thinkers. We need neurodivergent minds. We need people that are not afraid to cause a little bit of chaos and to do things differently. And I think that's what we need in education. And accountability. Let's be honest. We need accountability. And I think that would be a very good combination. Let's use some nonlinear thinking and accountability into the educational world and just create chaos, and don't be afraid that we don't know what to expect. Same with the 20 hours. Barbara was there, Abrim was there as well.
Yes.
It was organized chaos. I didn't know exactly what would happen in the 20 hours, but it was beautiful, and it all was connected together. Why? Because it all resonated, the people were connected, and there was not a rigid system where everybody had to apply. So I think that's important.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I would just say that although I don't know, I don't have the label yet to be a neurodivergent person. But the thing is, what I used to have is that, like, whenever there is whatever is actually been given to me, whatever the knowledge is, I usually have a different perspective to it, and I do ask that what is this, or maybe it may sound weird, and I have this, maybe this strange habit of asking questions, and that what makes other people kind of put off that. It's like, what is this, like, this doesn't seem, what is it? It's obvious. Like I said, no, it's not obvious to me, it seems a bit awkward or weird. And that's exactly what I've been teaching my kids as well. And I tell them, you will face you will face a lot of resistance when you ask questions, because no matter what, people do say, oh, questions are welcome and everything, but when you keep asking questions, they will get kind of frustrated, annoyed, or something, instead of listening to them. And
Mhm.
actually, I think it's natural. So sometimes when my kids ask a lot of questions, I said, okay, I don't want to listen. And then like they get say, oh, mama, you just saying this to ask question and then you're not listening. But the thing is, I think the main thing is that one needs to actually see things from the different perspective, and I think ask questions. To me, that is the one thing.
I couldn't agree with you more, Abrim. And curiosity is, I think, so important. And um, based on that curiosity and that we need to ask questions, and especially with kids, I have three kids. I love teaching at schools. I teach at schools about nonlinear thinking, about the octopus, with young kids, teenagers. We have think tanks in classrooms and with teenagers, all wonderful. But I noticed that it's in today's world very, very difficult for children to complain. I think it's difficult for people to complain anyway. Now, I'm using the word complain. Okay, the laws of thought automatically activate with everyone. I use the word complain. What do I mean with the word complain? A complaint is just a thought that nobody is listening to. Then it becomes a complaint. So complaints are not scary. Complaints are not negative. And yes, if I have something very interesting to share with people, and I'm very excited about something new, my new mic, and someone starts complaining about his mic, then we don't want to listen to that experience and these
Yeah.
thoughts. But I'm curious, and I do want to listen to the frustration and the thoughts that nobody's listening to, especially with kids as well.
Yeah.
And because I think there is the key to change the educational system, not by asking the kids how do you think we should create the educational system, but I think
No.
by really listening to them,
Yeah.
we can, especially with a very creative and nonlinear mind, we can connect some dots that we're not connecting right now.
Yeah.
And in order to do this, if I can make a little commercial here, Abrim, if you allow me to do
Sure.
that,
Do
um,
that.
because we're so curious
Yeah.
about what the kids are
Yeah.
thinking, but what everybody is thinking, we've created telltom.inc, and
Yeah.
it's an app in the App Store, in the Google Play Store, where people can just share their thoughts, and you can name it whatever you want. We call it inking. It's complaints, it's thoughts, it's frustration, it's things that people are not listening to you, and it's anonymous. You can just share it in the app. You log in, you share your frustration, your ink, and you leave. It's not social media. Nobody can see what you're writing. It goes into a database so we can do research, so we can listen to you, listen to the kids, and see what's actually going on in these minds, because
Yeah.
that's interesting to know. And many people would say, oh, I don't complain, it's negative. Or when I have an issue, I will talk to my parents or my friends. Really? Is that, are you really sharing everything there? What's important in your life? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And this way we can listen to the world and really make a difference. So sorry for this short commercial,
No,
but it's
no.
important because that's how we can make change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you are doing such an amazing work, Perry, especially like bringing all the non-linear thinkers and finding the solutions to it. So I think that's one thing this world needs at this moment. And this Teltom app is really amazing because I think that is the way we find out what's happening, what is the main frustration in the mind. And I think we should use for the education system to
And you
ask.
know what's
Yeah.
interesting? If I cannot wait to have enough data regarding to the educational system
Mhm.
worldwide, but
Yes.
we always think that things are different everywhere. And
No.
more than a week ago, I was in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, which was absolutely wonderful to visit the country you're staying at, Abrim, and fascinating to meet people. And they saw Teltom as well. They're using Teltom, and it's interesting to come back and then get complaints from Saudi Arabia, from people that are stuck in traffic and complaining about that, and have the same complaints from people, in an American city, and in Paris sending us the same complaints. I'm stuck in traffic again. And it sounds like it's not interesting, but it's what I find is interesting, that it connects all the people all over the world, that we're all facing the same challenges.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that's the same thing in education. So it would be so cool if we reach out into a global level in
yes,
creating a new system in education. I think we
yeah.
all need this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, you just mentioned that, people actually think almost the same way. I mean, I don't know, it's a linear thinking or whatever it is. But I tell you that when I was doing my master's in psychology, right? And I was studying all these theories of psychology, and I was just wondering that how like Sigmund Freud, is called the father of psychology, and I said how he would have a theory which can fit me, right?
Hmm.
Because he was maybe in like 19th century, he was in only in that particular segment, or it's in that particular like area of the part of the world, right? And like I was thinking from my side, so like I'm completely different, like from Asian background or some, how that theory could fit me. But to be honest, when I started studying those theories, it actually did define me, to be honest. Like lots of things, not exactly, I would say, but the way they define that how it mind works and everything. So I would say yes. I think people have basic desires. Their mind works on almost the same default way. It's just we think that we are different, but to be honest, it's the same thing. And
We're we're all unique, right? And I wrote a post about it just now on LinkedIn after thinking, sorry, but I just finished the 20
mm,
hours. So I'm constantly thinking about the 20 hours.
yeah.
And and something happened during the 20 hours as well. And this was the topic. The topic was education, neurodiversity,
Hmm.
AI, future of work, leadership, all these big topics.
Hmm.
And I think someone came in and talked about love and how we should love ourselves so we can love
Hmm.
others. Sounds very simple. And she
Yeah.
said, I say I love you to myself every morning in the mirror. I think there's a huge thing there, that we need to love ourselves so we can love each other. And now I sound like an old hippie. That's not what I mean, but it's there's so much frustration in the world, and I talk to so many people with all kinds of different backgrounds and labels, and how it all is going wrong in education, and everybody finds themselves special, and we are, and it's difficult to find our way. But don't forget to love yourself. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
say. Even though you're a bit weird, trust me, I'm weird, and people find me weird. And if you start questioning yourself, how are you going to have an amazing time at school and in education? I think it's important to talk about that as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's. I think it starts, or I would say, it begins with ourselves. And as you said, that loving ourselves is the one thing that it's not. I mean, to me, it's not just that loving yourself in a way that, but it's more like believing in yourself. Like whatever whoever you are meant to be that way. I think accepting as we are, instead of like trying to be someone. That is, I think, is the main issue these days, that everyone, because there's lots of labels and lots of pressure attached to the people, that you have to, I mean, there shouldn't be a law that by the age of 20 you need to pass the university, or then by the age of 30 you need to have a career, by the age of 35 you need to get married and have kids, and then you have, so I mean, these kind of things, I mean, put a lot of
All these
pressure on.
unwritten rules, right,
Yes.
Abrim? All these unwritten rules. Yeah.
But these rules are so powerful that
Hmm.
I think you see the entire population, is actually following this rule, right? They've been chasing, they know that they have to complete the university by this, they have to have grades, A's in all these things, and they have to have these jobs in, let's say, multinationals or whatever it is. They have to have that kind of the house or something of this. I mean, these are the things which we have burdened ourselves, and if we don't follow the same path, or if we feel that we are left behind, then what happens? And we start hating ourselves, right? And then you said,
Mhm.
oh my God, that we are not worth it. That is the main dilemma. And
And we start judging others, and within
yes,
education we
that's
start
true.
judging our other colleagues or students. And why do you need quietness? Why do
Yeah,
you need to focus like that? Why do you need more time? Why do you need
yeah,
a quiet space? What is this? Well, if we allow that to be in our lives, if we can allow each other to be whatever we want to be, um,
yeah,
it would be
I
it
know.
would be more beautiful as well,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Oh
I
dear,
know.
what a conversation.
I know. I mean, I really did not plan anything like that, but it's beautiful. I mean, I've learned to follow the process, follow the thoughts, and then or be in the flow. That's it. So, anyways, I know that I can go on and on, but the time is limited. And thank you so much for joining. I just let our audience know that what is the best way to reach out to you.
um, Join the movement,
Oh, great. Okay,
www.theoctopusmovement.org,
just
and you
I
can
have
join us.
put.
Go into our community, and you can
Okay,
join all these sessions, think tanks, and meetings, and all these other things.
okay, just.
Reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. You
Mhm.
can find me there. Send me a DM. And I'm on pickmybrain.world, and you can always book me for a 20-minute Zoom session to talk whatever you want to talk about. And we're happy to work with you, Abreem, together in creating something beautiful into education. We have 6 areas that we focus on. It's homelessness, it's hunger in the world, it's leadership, it's education, it's well-being, and it's climate change. And that's where we're, as a global organization, a global movement, are really focused on. So education is very important to us, and we will collaborate with you, Abreem, to
Sure,
create something beautiful and open
absolutely.
possibilities to really create change. Thank you for
Yes.
having me today.
Thank you so much for joining. I know it was not an easy day for you, and it's not easy for you to join, but thank you so much. I
No, no,
really
it's a
appreciate
pleasure
it.
to join, and it's always good to see you, Abreem, and I'm happy to
Yeah,
help,
yeah.
always. So happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks to all those like Lydia, Barbara, and all those who've been sharing the comments and have joined the conversation. So thank you and have a great day. See you in the next session. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.